A new job listing posted by 343 Industries has some concerning and potentially very alarming news about Halo Infinite, as well as some hints of there being a live service game there, which is potentially both bad and great for Halo. And today I'm going to tell you all about it in great detail. So let's go ahead and get into it. This video is supported by Audible. Snag yourself a free Halo audiobook right down in the description below. Alright, so yes, 343 Industries has posted a new job listing for their company, a position called the Live Design Lead. And this person will come up with ways to keep people playing Halo Infinite for a long period of time and consistently, like for the duration of its life cycle, which that's a pretty big job considering Halo Infinite's life cycle will probably be about 5 years, the same length of Halo 5 Guardians, if not longer. And to do so, this live design lead at 343 will have to tap into things like in-game or out-of-game progression and social media engagement, and apparently some form of microtransactions. Now, the job listing on Microsoft's official site details the job, qualifications, and also the responsibilities that comes with the position. All this seems mostly fine until we read this. It reads, design and deliver a AAA player investment experience that focuses on our fans and their desire to express their passion for our franchise, including, but not limited to, microtransactions. Okay, well, we'll talk about this in a moment. Now, let's take a step back. This isn't the first time that 343 Industries has talked about microtransactions in the next Halo game, Halo Infinite, in response to a 2018 job listing calling for an online experience design director, which, by the way, would basically oversee the games as a service elements, including microtransactions. And this scared a lot of people. So last year, 343 Industries' Chris Lee responded to all this fear, and he said very firmly that this Halo Infinite, will not include real money loot boxes. However, it seems will still include microtransactions. If this is confusing, I believe they're thinking of a system like Halo 5's Rex system, however, without the money part. One revealing thing about Lee's tweet is that he said real money loot boxes, which is quite a specific thing, giving room for there still to be microtransactions in general, and also for there to be loot boxes, although not used by real money. So gambling may still exist in Halo Infinite, although you cannot gamble with real money. In fact, this whole tweet really is up for speculation because you can look at it in so many different ways because it's such a vague tweet. As you could rationalize, maybe all loot boxes will be earnable, but also optionally could be purchased with real money. At hindsight, this could seem fair. Oh, okay, I can just earn it, right? But in extreme examples like in Star Wars Battlefront 2's launch, the progression system was just absurd, motivating people to just spend a couple bucks to effectively save themselves hours and hours of time grinding for something that is really not worth grinding for. And basically, this whole system could easily muddy the cosmetic system and yada yada. Really, I don't need to tell you guys why microtransactions are mostly bad for games. But regarding all this, regarding the Chris Lee post, I honestly think after looking at this tweet for quite some time, over a year, coming back to it once in a while, this was simply a confirmation that there won't be, as he said, real money loot boxes. However, buying items directly with real money, like armor, cosmetics, skins, and so on, with real cash seems to still be up in the air. Although, again, I'll just say one more time, it seems that it's already been confirmed that you cannot buy loot boxes with real money, aka you cannot gamble with real cash in Halo Infinite like you could in Halo 5. But again, the reason why I always talk about these things in detail when some people might be able to write this off saying, oh, there won't be any microtransactions at all in Halo Infinite, is because, well, you really got to look at the wording of these things. And it's such a vague tweet, as I've said before. I really feel that 343 should make community posts detailing exactly what they're going to do, or rather not do, at this point in development, especially with the high controversy and high concern of millions, I would say, of Halo fans surrounding this issue. I often find myself frustrated, as with many fans, I think, with the vague details on very important topics such as this. I hate seeing how there's big things on NeoGAF, which is a site that I really don't think 95% of the Halo community is not on or even pays attention to, and has to come watch videos like this to actually see. These big topic issues should be a just it should be on the top of Halo Waypoint, right? I understand development changes on Halo games over time, but if they were crystal super clear about these things, or at least kind of put their thoughts out there a little bit more, specifically, I think there'd be a lot less concern. So when we see a job listing confirming microtransactions still, that is what I call worrisome, right? That's what I find alarming. And by the way, that word microtransaction is really the definition of in-game purchasing with real money, right? Why would you even call it a microtransaction if it's just an in-game currency that players can buy and earn things and assets and weapons and loadouts and so on? That's what you call a microtransaction, an in-game shop that you can only spend money with that you found in the game. Then literally almost every single game in history has microtransactions, which isn't the case. Microtransaction means in-game purchasing little things in the game with real cash. Overall, the likelihood of Halo Infinite having microtransactions with real money is pretty high at this point, considering how quiet/vague they've been about the topic of having real money with microtransactions in general. But let's go back to the concerning responsibilities that we read earlier in the beginning of this video. The quote, not limited to microtransactions. What does all this mean here? Well, the job is to keep the player base alive. That's what the job posting that we talked about originally is all about. And I think an easy but highly disliked technique is to do some form of loot boxes or gambling. You see, it doesn't take skill, it doesn't take grinding to have to unlock things in a randomized order or some kind of gambling system, because you have to keep on playing and keep on playing. There's some armors that I wanted in Halo 5 years ago that I still haven't unlocked, but I'm sure if I knew what the hell I could do to earn those things, then I would have done them by now. But see, that's the catch of a gambling system. They keep you hooked by keep trying to get things that you want, keep trying to search for a specific item, or hopefully trying to get something really high tier while spending your money away. However, it seems that real money won't be a thing. It certainly seems that they're still going to probably pursue some kind of rec system, maybe without real money though. So however you look at it, I think that recs are making a return. You just won't be able to buy recs with real money, and there's going to be a separate cosmetic store where you can spend real world money on. And the part of the job listing that says express their passion probably has something to do with cosmetics, like player customization, which is said to be much like Halo Reach's armor customization. I'm not quite sure how I feel about people buying legendary armor and then maybe gloating about it in Halo gameplay. I don't know, it just feels kind of weird and cheap. And anything really involving money in Halo besides the bottom cost of buying the game, I feel it's just muddies and dirties the gameplay. But this doesn't really matter because, their goal is to make money. Using real money for cosmetics, I feel like kind of muddies the system overall. I mean, because it just shows that like you didn't really earn those things that you have. And the people that did earn the legendary armors that you probably will be able to buy in Halo Infinite will kind of ruin their experience too, because it's like, well, did they earn it or did they just buy it? So, I don't see any way implementing a microtransaction system that won't somehow muddy or ruin the cosmetic store or system or any kind of store in Halo, period, without kind of damping the whole system and ruining the gameplay overall. I think I'm just so frustrated at this point that literally every single game has to have these malicious microtransaction practices in them that it just seems like the whole video game industry has just been really polluted by this. And it's really just, it's almost rare that a game doesn't have some form of microtransaction that doesn't interfere with what otherwise would have been a much more fair progression system. Microtransactions started off as a way for free-to-play games to make income. That makes sense. But having these malicious loot boxes or practices or whatever really does screw up with what really the customization system could have been. Pointed out by GameSpot, the wording of the live design lead, the new job listing we're talking a lot about today, and the old one last year, the online experience design director, include actually a lot of similarities, including word for word bullet points. It's not really clear if the old role was taken or if this new one is actually the same role, just kind of made a little bit different here and there. But that old listing did expire, so we'll never really know if that role was taken. But the role seems to be looking for, as quoted, comprehensive understanding of player psychology to basically keep the player coming back. And in addition to all of this, it pretty much seems that Halo Infinite was confirmed that it will be a live service game. As said here, be able to adapt to the changing business and community needs that come along with being a live service. So not quite on the dot, but it's very likely, because this is not the first time that we heard Halo Infinite will be a live service game, but it seems that, yeah, that's going to be the case. If you don't know what a live service game is, by the way, think of Destiny or For Honor or Halo 5. Any game that is founded in the idea of keeping players engaged. Well, that sounds great, but the concerning part of this is that almost all quote-unquote live service games' purpose is to keep players sticking around longer, right? All in hopes of buying more microtransactions. And if done right, like Battle Royale games, CSGO, GTA 5, and so on, those micro purchases can stack up to a crap ton of cash to not only the individual, but of course the company receiving all that money on digitalized items. And we still have a little bit more meat to this story. Another responsibility on the new job listing says, design and deliver a AAA progression and engagement experience that ties into game features. Now that is a little bit concerning, because in other words, it seems that microtransactions will tie into game features, base game features that will probably be muddied and overall ruined slightly, if not entirely, by said microtransactions. Putting all this together with everything we've discussed today, as well as what GameSpot and other headlines have got from all this, is that basically Halo Infinite will somehow have a AAA player investment experience that includes microtransactions. So I'm not really quite sure how they will pull this off. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, because money, but why do they think that that will help the player experience? Because if anything, having something that involves cash can only ruin the player experience, I would argue. Almost 99% of the time, it seems that these microtransactions will do quite the opposite of making a player investment experience that seems AAA. It's almost contradictory. That's saying, like, you're going to set up a 5-star restaurant in a dumpster. Like, good luck with that. Now, I've been really critical in this video, maybe towards 343, but mainly really towards microtransactions, and I think many of us are frustrated because they ruin some of our favorite games, and for no other reason than just extra profit. It's not like Halo or Call of Duty or Destiny are suffering sales-wise and they have to put these microtransactions in. They literally just want more money, and it almost always screws over the people that actually bought and play in the game and invest their time into it. And so, yeah, go for the cash. They'll certainly make profit with microtransactions, but at what cost? Do you really want to be like the entire other piece of industry that is slowly being poisoned by this more than often kind of predatory culture of preying on consumers? So despite everything I've said, microtransactions aren't always bad. They did serve a great purpose back in the day, and like games like Fortnite, I think they are perfectly implemented. They give a stream of income for indie developers to continue working on their games, as long as they don't do it in a malicious or predatory way. But overall, even AAA studios, it gives them a reason, an incentive to keep adding free content, to basically keep throwing coal into the fire, and to continue working on a game after launch. And despite Halo being popular and profitable, I'd say it still applies, and if there are microtransactions in it, that will at least give a reason for Microsoft to sign off and to continuously get 343 to invest in more free content, like free maps, free weapons, free skins, and so on, like with what we saw in Halo 5 for the coming years of Halo Infinite's life cycle. Like this video up if you ended up enjoying. I really appreciate the likes, and they really help out my content. And of course, subscribe. Subscribing really does help out the channel as well. It shows more engagement, shows other people that this video is maybe worth watching if they're interested in the future of Halo. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video soon. All right, later. Peace.